Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that might challenge you, something that might even feel uncomfortable at first, but sometimes that's where the greatest transformations happen. There are moments in life when it seems like everything falls away. People leave, relationships change, and suddenly you find yourself alone. And in those moments, you might be asking yourself, why? Why am I alone? You might even feel like it's some form of punishment, like life or even God has abandoned you. But let me tell you this, those moments are not punishment. They are preparation. Maybe God wants you to be alone. Maybe he has cleared the space around you because there is something within you that needs to be unlocked, something that needs to rise up. And you can't do that if you're always surrounded by noise, distractions, or the expectations of others. God wants you to be alone so you can get to know the deepest part of yourself, the part that might have been buried under layers of what you thought you should be. He wants you to strip away the armor, the masks, and all the should so you can get to the core of who you are. You see, when we're constantly around others, we absorb their beliefs, their doubts, and even their dreams. We start living in a world that isn't our own. But when you're alone, truly alone, that's when the magic happens. That's when you hear your own voice. That's when you begin to feel your own power. God isn't isolating you, he's inviting you. He's inviting you to dive deep into your own soul, to face the parts of yourself you may have been avoiding. Sometimes life has a way of clearing out the people, distractions, and situations around us, leaving us in a space of solitude. Many of us resist this. We see it as abandonment, rejection, or a season of emptiness. But what if I told you that this solitude isn't a punishment? It's preparation. Life, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, sometimes allows these quiet, seemingly isolated moments to create space for growth and transformation that could never happen amidst the usual noise. In our day-to-day lives, we're surrounded by people and their energies, their opinions, their expectations, and even their fears. These influences often shape who we believe we are and how we think we should act. We begin to adapt to fit into these molds, adjusting our true selves to meet the external needs and perspectives of others. It becomes so easy to lose touch with our own identity. We often let the world decide what we believe, what we strive for, and what dreams we pursue. But solitude has a unique way of stripping those things away. It creates a void where only our true selves can step forward, a place where our own voice is the loudest one we hear. When we're alone, really alone, we get an opportunity to meet ourselves on a deeper level. Many of us haven't taken the time to really sit with ourselves, to ask the big questions, to explore what drives us, what matters, and where we want to go in life. The irony is that we spend so much time worrying about relationships, friendships, and our social status, yet often fail to nurture the one relationship that will be with us forever, the one we have with ourselves. Solitude is an invitation to deepen that relationship, to understand who we are apart from what the world has told us. Think of this time alone as a period of cleansing. Just like any great transformation, growth sometimes requires a breakdown, a tearing away of everything that no longer serves us. Maybe you're in a season of solitude because certain things needed to be removed from your life. People, situations, habits, even beliefs that were holding you back. These things can't have space in your life if you're going to move forward in a new, healthier direction. Solitude isn't pushing you back, it's clearing a path for your next step. It's giving you room to breathe, reflect, and refocus. This process can be challenging. We're often uncomfortable with our own thoughts. We may struggle with memories, regrets, or doubts that surface in this quiet time. But instead of trying to distract yourself from those feelings, embrace them. Lean into the discomfort. There's something powerful about facing yourself head on without judgment, without shame. This is where real growth begins, when you can look at every part of yourself and accept it, forgive it, and even love it. Through solitude, you're building a foundation that no one else can shake, because it comes from a place that's unbreakable within yourself. This period of solitude is also preparation for the future. When we're in a relationship, a new job, or any other life situation, we bring all of ourselves into it. The more we know ourselves, the stronger, more resilient, and clearer we are about what we want and need. Solitude allows you to prepare yourself for these moments by giving you a chance to discover your true priorities, to understand your values, and to build confidence in who you are. This inner work will help you attract relationships, opportunities, and experiences that are aligned with your authentic self, creating a life that genuinely fulfills you. In a world that's constantly moving, where everyone is always connected and reachable, the idea of solitude often feels foreign or uncomfortable. We've been conditioned to think that being alone is somehow negative or unnatural, that we need the presence of others to feel fulfilled. But the truth is, solitude is an incredible opportunity. When we're alone, away from the influence of others, we have the chance to strip away distractions and reconnect with who we really are. It's in these quiet moments that we start to see our authentic self emerging, the version of us that isn't shaped by the expectations, opinions, or judgments of anyone else. Imagine that for years you've been wrapped in layers of other people's beliefs, ideas, and expectations. You've adapted your personality, your dreams, even your values to fit into these layers, often without even realizing it. The result: over time, you lose touch with your own voice. You forget who you are when no one else is around. But solitude, true solitude, has a way of stripping those layers away. It's a cleansing process where you slowly peel back everything that isn't genuinely you. And when those layers start to fall off, you begin to see yourself clearly, often for the first time. When we're constantly surrounded by people, we tend to conform to the group's energy. We play roles, sometimes without even realizing it. Maybe you're the one who's always reliable, the one who has it all together, or perhaps you're the one who's constantly entertaining others. Each of these roles shapes your interactions, and over time, these interactions can shape your identity. But these roles aren't necessarily who you truly are. They're the pieces of you that others see, and they may not reflect the fullness of your being. Solitude allows you to break free from these roles, to step outside the expectations of others, and to explore parts of yourself that you may have suppressed or neglected. Solitude gives us the space to ask ourselves, who am I without anyone else's input? What do I believe? What do I want out of life? These aren't questions we typically ask when we're in the company of others. Surrounded by people, we're more focused on responding to their needs, making them happy, or fitting in. But when you're alone, there's no one to please, no one to please, no one to impress. It's just you. And that creates a space for raw honesty. You're able to look within and understand the things that genuinely matter to you, apart from any societal pressures or influences. You start to remember the dreams and passions that make your soul feel alive, the things that resonate deeply within you. Solitude also helps us to tune into our intuition. In a world filled with opinions, advice, and endless information, it can be challenging to hear your inner voice. We're constantly bombarded with what other people think we should do, be, or achieve. Solitude quiets all of that noise. It brings you back to a state of stillness where you can hear your inner guidance clearly. And this voice, your intuition, is one of the most powerful sources of wisdom you have. It knows what's right for you on a level that the opinions of others never will. The more time you spend alone, the more you'll strengthen this connection with your intuition, allowing it to guide you with confidence. In solitude, you also begin to uncover the beliefs you hold about yourself and the world around you. Some of these beliefs may be empowering, while others may be limiting. Solitude gives you the space to question these beliefs, to assess which ones are genuinely yours and which ones you've simply absorbed from others. This is a critical part of self-discovery. By examining and letting go of the beliefs that no longer serve you, you create room for new perspectives, fresh ideas, and personal growth. Solitude is a transformative journey inward, allowing you to reset and realign with your own truth. It's a powerful gift that can reveal the essence of who you are. True strength is something we all admire, and many of us spend years trying to cultivate it. But real, unbreakable strength isn't found in the validation we receive from others or in the admiration we seek externally. It's something much deeper. It's a power that comes from within. When we learn to rely on our inner strength, we become unshakable. We develop a kind of resilience that no amount of praise or approval from the outside world can give us. And here's the thing, this type of strength is best discovered in solitude. When we're alone, away from the eyes of others, we're given the unique chance to connect with our inner power, to explore our own worth apart from anyone else's opinion. In society, there's often this push to seek external approval. We're raised to believe that if we're liked, if we're accepted, then we're on the right track. So we chase it. We chase likes, followers, compliments, promotions, anything that makes us feel validated in the eyes of others. But this chase leaves us vulnerable, because when we build our worth on others' opinions, we become dependent on them. Our self-esteem, our happiness, and even our sense of identity are at the mercy of someone else. We become like a leaf in the wind, blown around by every compliment or criticism. This kind of strength is fragile because it's not real strength at all. It's merely a reflection of other people's perceptions. Being alone teaches us to go deeper. When we're not looking for others to affirm us, we start to find that affirmation within ourselves. We learn to validate our own experiences, to recognize our own achievements, and to love ourselves without needing to hear it from someone else. This is the foundation of real strength. It's about knowing that no matter what anyone says or thinks, you are whole and complete as you are. When we reach this point, we no longer feel the desperate need for approval. We become grounded, centered in who we are, and that's a strength that cannot be shaken. This inner strength also gives us freedom. When we no longer seek validation from the outside world, we are free to live authentically, to pursue our true interests, to make choices that resonate with our deepest values. We stop worrying about fitting in or meeting someone else's expectations. Instead, we focus on what genuinely fulfills us. There's immense power in that. This is the strength of self-confidence, of a life led by choice rather than by fear of judgment. We find ourselves living in alignment with who we are, and we find a sense of fulfillment that no amount of external praise could provide. Real strength is about resilience. Life is full of challenges and setbacks, moments when things don't go our way. When we depend on external validation, these setbacks can feel devastating. We may feel like failures, wondering if we've lost others' approval or admiration. But when our strength is rooted within us, we approach these setbacks differently. We know that our worth isn't tied to any single outcome. We become able to navigate life's ups and downs without losing our sense of self. We find a quiet confidence, a trust in our own ability to rise again, to find solutions, and to move forward. When we develop inner strength, we also become more compassionate and accepting of others. We stop judging people based on superficial qualities, and we stop competing or comparing ourselves to them. We recognize that everyone is on their own journey and that each person's path is unique. This kind of strength allows us to lift others up without feeling threatened. It's a strength that unites rather than divides. It's powerful, grounded, and peaceful because it's built on a foundation that cannot be swayed by external forces. In Solitude, we have the opportunity to explore and cultivate this inner strength. It's a journey that requires patience and self-awareness, but it's one of the most rewarding paths we can take. When we come to know our own worth and embrace our own resilience, we become a force of nature, unbreakable and free to live life on our own terms. There's a common belief that we need others to feel complete, that somehow we are only half of who we are until we find that special person, that community, or those friendships that will make us whole. But this idea sets us up for a fragile and conditional sense of happiness. The reality is that true fulfillment, the kind that lasts and isn't dependent on anyone else, is something we have to find within ourselves. No one can truly complete us. This journey of self-fulfillment is deeply personal, and it's one we need to take on our own if we want to experience the richness of a life lived in alignment with who we really are. When we look to others to fill our emotional or spiritual gaps, we place an enormous weight on those relationships. We start to rely on people to make us feel happy, worthy, and loved, and at first it might seem like it works. There's a temporary sense of satisfaction when someone else gives us what we're missing within ourselves, but over time that feeling fades. Relationships are fluid, people change, grow, and sometimes drift apart. If our sense of fulfillment is tied to another person, we'll find ourselves feeling empty or even resentful when they can't or don't meet our needs. Self-fulfillment, on the other hand, is about learning to nurture and love ourselves without needing that affirmation from the outside. It's about discovering what truly makes us happy, what brings us peace, and what helps us feel alive, regardless of whether anyone else is involved. This is an empowering realization because it puts our happiness back in our own hands. We're no longer dependent on anyone else to feel whole. We can be in a room full of people, or we can be by ourselves and we still feel complete. That's the kind of fulfillment that stands the test of time. When we embark on the journey of self-fulfillment, we start by getting to know ourselves. We take the time to explore our passions, our values, and our dreams, free from the expectations or judgments of others. We learn to appreciate our own company and to find joy in the things that resonate with us on a personal level. Maybe it's creating art, exploring nature, learning new skills, or simply spending time in quiet reflection. Each of us has unique sources of joy and fulfillment, and part of this journey is discovering those things for ourselves without waiting for someone else to reveal them to us. Building self-fulfillment also involves healing. Many of us carry wounds or insecurities that we may try to cover up through relationships. We look to others to make us feel worthy, attractive, or important, but these external validations are never enough to heal us completely. True healing happens when we learn to love ourselves unconditionally, to accept our flaws and our past, and to embrace who we are right now. It's about recognizing our own worth independent of anyone's opinion and treating ourselves with compassion. This process of self-love and acceptance builds a sense of inner peace that radiates outward and allows us to engage with others from a place of wholeness rather than need. When we feel fulfilled within ourselves, we actually bring more to our relationships. We no longer see others as a means to complete us. Instead, we're able to share our lives with them from a place of generosity, not dependency. Our interactions become richer, more authentic, and more balanced because we're not constantly seeking something from others that we lack within ourselves. We become capable of giving and receiving love freely, without fear or insecurity, because we know that our happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. This kind of self-fulfillment enhances every area of our lives, allowing us to experience deeper connections without losing ourselves in the process. The journey of self-fulfillment is also one of purpose. When we're no longer looking outside ourselves for validation, we start to look within for direction. We ask ourselves what we want to create, what impact we want to have, and what kind of life we want to lead. Without the noise of external expectations, we can hear the quiet, authentic desires that have been waiting for us to listen. We discover what truly matters, and we align our lives with those values. This alignment brings a sense of satisfaction that no external source can replicate, as we're now living a life that feels meaningful and true to who we are. There are times in life when we experience a sense of solitude, a season where things feel quieter, where connections might not be as abundant, and where we have more time with ourselves than with others. Often this solitude can feel like a burden. We think it's a problem that needs fixing, that we need to fill this space with people, activities, or distractions. But what if solitude is actually a gift, a necessary period of growth that prepares us for the next chapter of our lives? When we embrace solitude, we allow it to be a time of self-reflection, healing, and realignment. In this way, solitude becomes a powerful tool for personal transformation. Solitude gives us a unique opportunity to pause and reset. In the rush of everyday life, we're constantly moving from one thing to the next, often on autopilot, without taking time to consider if our choices align with our true values or aspirations. Solitude allows us to step back from the noise, to reconnect with our core values, and to evaluate the direction of our lives. In this space, we can ask ourselves questions that don't often come up in the hustle and bustle. Am I happy with where I'm headed? Am I living in alignment with who I really am? These are important questions, and the answers can often reshape our path in profound ways. This period of solitude is also a chance for healing. Many of us carry emotional wounds, disappointments, or unprocessed feelings that we tend to suppress in the busyness of our lives. When we're alone, without the constant input of others, these emotions have a chance to surface. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but this is a necessary step toward true healing. Solitude provides a safe space to confront and process these feelings, allowing us to understand them and eventually release them. This is essential because without healing, we bring unresolved pain into our relationships and our work, affecting every part of our lives. Solitude lets us do this inner work so that we can emerge stronger, healthier, and ready to engage fully with the world. In solitude, we also discover more about our true selves. When we're constantly around others, we tend to adapt, sometimes without realizing it. We might change the way we act or the way we think to fit in or to meet expectations. But in solitude, those external pressures fall away and we start to see ourselves more clearly. We begin to understand our true passions, interests, and values, what makes us unique. This period of self-discovery is invaluable because when we know who we are, we can live more authentically. We can make decisions that are true to our own desires and aspirations rather than choices based on what others expect of us. Solitude also cultivates resilience and inner strength. In moments of solitude, we learn to rely on ourselves. We become comfortable with our own company and develop a sense of self-sufficiency. This is powerful because it teaches us that we are enough as we are, that we don't need others to validate our worth. We realize that we can handle life's challenges on our own, that we're capable of standing strong even when things are difficult. This resilience, this inner strength, stays with us long after the period of solitude is past. It becomes a core part of who we are, and it serves us in every aspect of our lives. Embracing solitude also gives us the clarity to recognize the relationships and opportunities that truly align with us. When we know who we are and what we want, we stop settling for less than we deserve. We start attracting relationships, friendships, and opportunities that support our growth and reflect our values. We become more intentional about who and what we allow into our lives, creating an environment that nurtures and uplifts us. In this way, solitude becomes a filter, helping us attract people and experiences that resonate with our authentic selves. So if you find yourself in a season of solitude, embrace it. Don't rush to fill the space or escape the quiet. Use this time as a precious opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to heal, and to grow. Remember that solitude is not a void, it's a canvas for you to paint the next chapter of your life with clarity, purpose, and intention. Embrace it as the powerful gift that it is, knowing that it's preparing you for something greater. When you step out of this season, you'll find that you're not only more connected to yourself, but also better equipped to connect meaningfully with the world around you.